Hey there, everybody. So for this one, we're going to be finding the perimeter of a shape that has decimal side lengths. So if you remember, perimeter is the measure of the distance around the shape. So that is the measure of the distance from here to here, here to here, here to here, and here to here all together. It's the distance around the shape. So what we need to do to find perimeter of any shape is you add up all the side lengths. Now, there are some tricks when you have rectangles or you have squares that you can use involving multiplication. But for this polygon, it is a four-sided shape, but it is not a square or a rectangle. So none of those sides are congruent or equal to each other. So our simplest way to do this would be to add up all the side lengths. So what I might want to do is I might want to pick two side lengths to start with to add up. So let's say I pick the 6.82 and the 8, and I start there. So whenever you're adding decimals, you have to keep things lined up by your decimal place value. So if I write 6.82 up here, I'm going to put a decimal for my second number right under the decimal for the first. Now, the number 8 doesn't actually have a decimal. It is a whole number, but every whole number has a decimal right here, just after the ones place. We just don't usually write it. It's there, but we don't usually write it if it's just a whole number. So I need to make it reappear. And the reason I do that is so that I can make sure that this is all lined up. Now you may have noticed after I put the 8 right under where the 6, where it should be in the ones place, I added 2 zeros. So anytime you're doing this and you're setting it up, you can add zeros in for your empty spaces, and that might make it look more like you're used to when you're adding or subtracting. So I'm going to put the decimal right here for the answer. It goes right under where it is in the problem. 2 plus nothing is 2. 8 plus nothing is 8. And 6 plus 8 is 14. So that is the first half of the perimeter right there. Now for the second half, I'm going to add together the 7.73 and the 7.89. Again, adding decimals means I have to make sure everything lines up. So I'm going to put 7.73 here and 7.89 here. Okay, so I'm going to put a decimal right under it into the answer space. Make sure that all the decimals are lined up. Then I'm going to go ahead and add. 3 plus 9 is 12, so I'll put a 2 here and regroup the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16, so I'll put a 6 here and regroup a 1 here. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15, so a 5 here and a 1 here. There's the other half of the perimeter. Okay, so now that I've done all this, what I might do is go back and erase this, and I'm going to erase this. And I'm just doing this so I have more room to show you. You don't actually have to erase your numbers. But my final step is going to be to add these two together. So let's move them so that they're close together. Oops, I didn't want that. I don't want that with it. So let's try this. Oops, there we go. Okay, there we go. I just want that number. Okay, let's put that up here. And then I'm going to lasso this and put it right here. And as I'm doing that, I can already go ahead and line up the decimals. Now, if you're just doing this on paper, all you have to do is rewrite the numbers. Just make sure that the decimals are lined up. Now I'm going to put the decimal right here under that for my answer. 2 plus 2 is 4. 8 plus 6 is 14. So 4 here and 1 here. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. So I would put a 0 here and regroup the 1. Now 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 30. So the perimeter of this shape would be 30.44.